Okay, this is probably going to be the most overcomplicated video I've ever made for a Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. By the way, I am Seminole Zachary here, back again. And over the weekend, I tweeted it out on Sunday, and before that one Sunday, I think it was the 27th, I believe, that I would be going to the Savage Strike sneak peek over at my local game store. And I took a pretty fun deck. It's my Herald Perfection deck, except I updated it for the brand new January 2019 banlist, which actually benefits the deck more than hurts. So without further ado, let's get started. Yeah, first three monsters you're going to be running is 3 copies of Herald Perfection. It should be pretty obvious and simple how you can run this. You can ritual summon with Dawn Herald. During your first turn, when a card effect activates from your opponent's side, you can discard a fairy, negate, destroy it. It's as simple as that. And this is not once per turn, 2800 defense, 1800 attack. This is probably like, this is your number one win con out of the deck. That's all I'm going to say that much. And, oh my goodness. I apologize for the cups on screen. I'm literally just trying to make it stand so I could just record. I don't have a stand yet, rip. Oh god, this is not gonna be easy. Hold on, I gotta readjust this. It's gonna be harder than it looks. I actually got it fixed. Anyway, next up, 3 copies of Cyber Angel Ben 10. Another good card out of your deck. Ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If it ever destroys a monster for battle, then inflict damage equal to its defense originally. Doesn't matter too much because we're only using it for the second effect, which is if it's ever tributed, you add a light fairy for you to your hand. Any light fairy. It's also level 6, which synergizes really well with Herald Perfection over here, as it's also level 6. And yeah, that's pretty much next up. 2 copies Cyber Angel Eda 10. Now, I really love comboing with the deck, especially with a card like Cyber Angel Benton right over here. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. It's also level 6, which is synergizes pretty well with Herald Perfection and Cyber Angel Benton. If you ritual summon it, you add a ritual spell from your deck or grave from your hand. Pretty good recursion effect. It comes up a couple times. Then if it's ever distributed, all ritual monsters you control gain 1000 second defense permanently. Another solid boost for the deck. And you could use it as link materials you want. If you want. It's just like you really can use this card really well. And then finally, to round out your ritual engine, you run 1 copy Cyber Angel Dakini, which is another boss monster of your deck. No, already counting 2. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If it's ever ritual summoned, you can make your opponent send a monster they control to the graveyard of their choice, which is pivotal to only control 1 monster like a Ray or Shizuku, or anything along the Sky Striker line. And it doesn't count as being destroyed, so it won't trigger Ray. If any ritual monster attacks while its card makes up in the field, your ritual monsters do piercing damage. Then once per turn during the end phase, add a ritual monster. Just like any of these 9 or a Machine Angel Ritual from your graveyard, add it to your hand. And it's a really nice boss monster at 2700 attack, potentially 37 with Eda 10. But genuinely, it's a really good for being a beat stick, so yeah, you only need 1 copy at most. Next off is your search engine. First up, 3 copies of Manju to 10,000 hands, pretty generic for what it does. Sorry, I had to swallow something. Okay, it should be better. When this card is normal and flip summoned, you can add a ritual monster or a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Pretty generic and searchable from Ben 10. Next card is 2 copies of Cyber Besieged Angel, as I almost knocked down my stand. Oh my god, I gotta be careful with that. It's the same thing as Manju, except if it's ever summoned. It adds a Cyber Angel monster or Machine Angel Ritual hard once per turn. It's level 2, which is pretty important. And then lastly for the engine, it's 2 copies of Gale Dagra. Now, the last time I made this deck, I had 3, but now I'm playing 2 just for consistency reasons. You don't want to typically see 3 of them in your deck most of the time, so you pay 3,000 life points to send a monster from your extra to the graveyard. which is, by the way, better than Extra Foolish Burial, which costs you half your life points and only activates it once a turn. This one you can activate twice, and you can still win out 2,000 life points. Like, I'm serious. Then next up, you got a really good engine. It's like the Star Staff engine with 3 copies of Star Staff Scepter and 3 copies of Star Staff Sovereignty. Now, this is typically known as Stick and Chair, but I just prefer the normal names, as you probably guys know what I mean, like for the past couple times. The Scepter, when this card is normal special summon, you can add a Star Staff monster from your hand, deck your hand, except itself. And then Xyz monster is used as material with this card, gains this effect. You can target a card on the field when it's Xyz summoned, and then destroy it. If you do, draw a card. Always nice to get resources. And Sovereignty can't be used as a Xyz summoning, or unless you're like using 3. If you ever normal special summon a Star Staff monster, except during the damage step, special summon it, draw a card, special summon it to Star Staff. So pretty good combination. Like, you normal summon this, activate this from your hand, special summon, draw a card, get another card. You know, you already got 3 monsters on the board just instantly, and you basically went +2 out of the play, which is really nice for a deck like this, because you want to get as much advantage as you can. And then, like, these monsters are just like rounding out the deck. Arcwood Christia is just pretty easy to summon. If you have 4 fairies in grave, special summon it. If you do, you add a fairy from your deck to your hand, from graveyard to your hand. Neither player can special summon, which is like really good in combination with cards like Herald Perfection, because with the addition of negating your opponent's cards, your opponent can't special summon anything. Like, if you stop him, your opponent can't play at all, which is like the goal of the deck. And if it ever leaves the field, you send it back to the top of the deck for recursion, which is really nice on itself. Next, an Honest, just 1. That's all we need. It's basically during damage calc, you could discard it to increase a monster's attack by the attacking monster. It comes up a couple times, you just never see it often because, yeah, I only play 1 copy because I don't really need more than 1. And then, last engine I'm running, it's really helpful for the deck. It's 1 copy of Eva, which I wasn't playing in the last build. Eva is a level 1 life fairy. If it's ever sent to the graveyard, you can banish up to 2 other life fairies you control or is in your graveyard. Add up to 2 level 2 light fairies equal to the number of cards you banish this way, once per turn. Now, you're probably only going to have 1 card that's level 2 light fairy. Here's the second, Herald Orange Light, which is the only reason we play Eva. Because Herald and Orange Light actually enables a couple plays like into the extra deck. And it's also a pretty good hand trap where if you activate a monster, when your opponent activates a monster effect, discard itself and another fairy to negate the activation. Yeah. And it's also a tuner, so keep that in mind. Anyway, like if you discard Eva out of Herald Protection while you have 2 fairies in grade, you're basically going pot of greed. Like, you're gonna guarantee yourself 5 negations at least. This is really insane. That's it for all your monsters. For your spells, you're obviously running triple copies of Dawn of the Herald with your summoning mechanic for Herald of Perfection, which requires the level 6 monster to tribute it, or any monster that equals 6. And then once the ritual summon is complete, immediately you can banish it, target one of the monsters used for the ritual summon, add it back to your hand. So a combo I would do is, hold on, let me get the cards. I would tribute Ben 10 for cost. It would occur as effect from the graveyard when tributed. Special this, banish this, get this back, get a search. Which is really good for the deck. Then next ritual spells I'm running is 3 copies of Machine Major Ritual, which I don't get why no one runs. It's insane. You can use this to summon any of your Cyber Angel monsters, which is usually going to be either Ida 10 and Ben 10 and or Dakini. And then you trigger a lot of effects. And it has a really good graveyard effect where if a light monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect while it's in the graveyard, just banish it instead. Protect your board. You know, if you're throwing straight Dark Hole Rick at you and you're like, nope, I gotta banish this. That's it. If that's their play, that's it. They just lost the duel. I'm not really talking the truth about them losing the duel because it probably won't happen. It's good. It's good utility. Next up, you're playing 3 copies of Pre-Preparation Rites +1 for your Dawn of Herald and Herald Perfection. As it searches a ritual spell from your deck in hand, then it must search a ritual monster with the same name with the card listed, which Dawn of Herald's your only target. And then Recursion, you're playing 2 copies of Preparation for Rites. I don't like 3 in the deck just because like it may come up a little inconsistent a couple times, but that's just me. It's good. It's a good card overall. That's, oh my god, I almost hit. Why do I keep hitting my phone stand? God, I wish I actually had a stand. Help me. And then to round up your main deck, you're running 3 copies of Ritual Sanctuary, which is basically your go-to for searching your light rituals or your spells. Like, it comes up a couple of times. Like, a play that I would do is that I would discard Machine Ritual for cost search anything, then just recur it with a prep. Yeah, I would do that. Like, it actually is a good play. Not to mention you could special summon any of your light fairies from the graveyard if you shuffle enough spells back into the deck. Both effects are hard ones per turn, so you gotta keep that in mind whenever you're doing it. So yeah, that's gonna be doing it for the main deck. Now side deck's your personal opinion, but I just like to play like a couple of utility cards, like the Third Guildauger in case I really need it. Artifact Lancia for your Thunder Dragon matchup, which, by the way, if it could focus right here. Gotta remove my finger. It's a light fairy, which is searchable out of Ben 10, which means you could easily just stun Thunder Dragons whenever you want. Then hand traps, 1 Ash Blossom, and 2 copies of Effect Veiler. Yeah, I would be running more Ash Blossom if I actually had them, so I'm just going budget options. Again, like the side deck's obviously your choice if I could speak right. And then the next 3 cards are just like ritual monsters that I don't really find useful in the main deck now. Vrash fell out of the meta like a little. Natasha, it comes up a couple times, it just doesn't occur as often. And the Saphira I just hardly use. Vrash nukes every extra monster your opponent has. But like, it doesn't come up too often now because you're like only nuking either 1 monster or 2. Like, it's just not good. I mean, its negation effect's nice, but like, why? And then Natasha, if it's ever in it's good utility. And Saphira is probably one of the more useless ones. I had to rush this because I only have a 15-minute limit on my video, so I really wish I could go in depth. I really wish. And then next up, you're playing triple Shared Ride. For any of those matchups that you really bricked, and then you're going against like Altergeist or Sky Striker, where you just search non-stop. You can just go ahead and just get back into the game with Shared Ride. Pretty important card, honestly. And then your last piece of side decks like utility, Hatronade for your Sky Striker matchup, Twin Twisters, general back removal, double MST because I don't have more copies of Twin Twisters, unfortunately. Raigeki to nuke monster boards, Monster Reborn just to get a monster back, and then the Himmelite just because of Saphira that's already in the deck. That's gonna do it for the side deck. I mean, again, it's your personal choice. Off to the beast itself, the extra deck, you're running 2 Arclight, which is used in tandem with Guildauger. Send it to the graveyard, search a ritual monster or spell, and it's sent to the graveyard. I actually found a couple situations where I had to summon it, which is really weird for me. And then it's like, it doesn't come up nice. Next up, 1 copy of Coral Dragon. You can use this with Orange Light, and then another level 4 monster you have. I only really use this with the draw 1 effect, but the destruction effect comes up in handy a couple times. And then I gotta rush this sort of. Very Cheergle. You can make this just to get some more cards to hopefully negate things. Abyss Dweller for most of your graveyard matchups. Ouroboros. Deltaros, just because you can make these with the Starstaff engine. This game rips cards in your opponent's hands. This thing nukes cards while you pretty much are safe from anything upon summons. And then the Utopia package of Utopia and Utopia the Lightning, which is pretty obvious in this deck. And then finally, to round off with links, you got Deco Talker, you got Underclock Taker, which you could actually use, Phoenix, Cerberus, generic removal. Hit the Shinigami, you can make this pretty easily. And finally, the 1 Summon Sorceress to round up your extra deck. And it does come up a lot of times. So, with that being in mind, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. It went 2-2 at the locals. I was actually pretty proud of how I did. And yeah, so if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, follow my Twitter. And yeah, if you want to see a combo video, I'll post the link in Twitter. And yeah, I gotta go now. See ya.